This morning, 3 defendants were convicted of committing federal hate crimes in connection with the murder of Ahmaud Arbery.
A family comes full circle.
What we got today, we wouldn't have gotten today if it wasn't for the fight that the family put up on January the 31st.
A verdict of guilty in federal court against the men who murdered Ahmaud Arbery.
They stood up for Ahmaud to say that Ahmaud's life mattered.
I'm Kaylee Tracy. I spoke with Ahmaud Arbery's mother in a one-on-one interview. What she's saying about the guilty verdict today.
Ahmaud would be pleased.
Plus, the next trial the family will be watching very closely, and why.
The cover-up is having blood on Jackie Johnson's hands as well.
This is First Coast.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight for First Coast News at 7. I'm Heather Crawford. The men who killed Ahmaud Arbery found guilty of killing him because he was black. That is the verdict of the jury today, finding Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan guilty of hate crimes. Now, Travis McMichael, the shooter in this case, was convicted of 3 charges: attempted kidnapping and using a weapon to commit a crime, in addition to the hate crime conviction. His father, Gregory McMichael, was found guilty today on those same 3 charges. And their former neighbor, William Roddy Bryan, charged only with the hate crime and attempted kidnapping, found guilty of both. The men were previously convicted of murder in state court. They're already serving life sentences for those crimes. Now each could receive another life sentence following today's convictions. On your side's Kaylee Tracy has been in the courtroom throughout this trial. She was there today as the verdict was read after less than 4 hours of deliberations, and Kaylee had a chance to speak one-on-one with Ahmaud Arbery's mother.
Arbery's family members had their arms around each other and nodded in agreement as that guilty verdict was read. Travis McMichael, he grimaced and closed his eyes as the verdict was read. His father, Gregory McMichael, sighing in the courtroom today. Travis McMichael's mother had her head down at times, hands folded. Even some jurors were emotional. Arbery's mother calling today Super Tuesday. Prosecutors argued the 3 men didn't see Arbery as human and cited the numerous racial slurs the 3 used over several years about black people. Evidence that was very disheartening and difficult for Arbery's family to hear, they say. Some of Arbery's family members hugged the prosecutors afterwards, the lead prosecutor tearing up. But Arbery's parents say they wouldn't have justice today if the family hadn't argued against a plea deal prosecutors offered the defendants a few weeks ago.
My family and I had to go and ask for the mercy of the court to actually not take a plea deal, because they wanted to take a plea deal to give these guys 30 years in a federal prison. I didn't think that it was right, because they brought these charges. I thought these charges was just as important as the state charges, and I'm glad that the judge heard our cry and we brought these guys to trial.
A sentencing date has not yet been set yet. As for tomorrow, the 2-year anniversary of Ahmaud Arbery's death, his parents have events planned here in Brunswick as well as in Atlanta. We'll have coverage on that tomorrow. Reporting in Brunswick, Kaylee Tracy, First Coast News, on your side.
United States Attorney General Merrick Garland welcoming the guilty verdict from the jury. He spoke today after it was announced. Here's part of what he had to say.
The Justice Department has a legal obligation to prosecute hate crimes. And as Americans, all of us have a moral obligation to combat the hatred and bigotry that motivates those crimes. Today's verdict makes clear that the Justice Department will continue to use every resource at its disposal to confront unlawful acts of hate and to hold accountable those who perpetrate them.
As you heard Kaylee say, tomorrow marks 2 years since Ahmaud Arbery was murdered. The day now known as Ahmaud Arbery Day in Georgia, and there will be several events in Brunswick in his honor.